Hello, welcome. My name is Rich. This is Champions Online, a superhero MMO based on the Champions RPG, pen and paper RPG. This is Technical Issues, an electricity-powered superhero, and we are currently in the Canadian North. The reason everything looks a bit pink is that there is an event going on, the Blood Moon event for Halloween. There we go. Not terribly bloody looking, more orange or yellow really, but it is casting a very red light, well, red adjacent light on the rest of the environment. Currently we are, as I said, in the Canadian North. We've done a lot of missions around here, dealing with Chieta Village Sasquatch or Bigfoot, and Ziataka Village Bigfoot, who are the bad guys. They're evil, possibly just because they are infected with some kind of virus, or possibly because they were knobheads anyway. It's unclear. The Chieta tribe are broadly good. They're friendly, at least. And currently we are fighting Viper, who are a sort of, well, Cobra stand-in, really. Do we have a mission for this? I know it will be a mission at some point, and that this is apparently a Gadroon egg, even though it's exactly the same model as is used for other pieces of Gadroon technology. The Gadroon being reptilian aliens who are trying to invade. They've tried before, failed, and apparently they think that this time, when humanity has advanced further than last time, they will be successful. They've tried here and in Millennium City, the first major area that players start in. Both times foiled by me, or well, by the player character, not me personally, or even this superhero specifically, just the superhero that you are playing as. What was it I'm supposed to be doing? Collecting incriminating documents. I think that just means take these dudes down until they start dropping important documents. Oh no, here we are. Oh no, it's a Viper comic book. Tales of Serpent, Annual Domination in the Desert. The tattered, coffee-stained back issue tells of a serpent adventure in the American desert after the Craven government agency Primary sends a blue, six-armed radioactive monstrosity, Glond, on a cross-country rampage. It's up to the heroic forces of Serpent to contain this dangerous threat. Gee, where to? That probably should be do. Where do those nutty comic book writers get their crazy ideas? Where indeed? For those who are just joining us and who haven't watched any previous streams or any of the previous or played the game themselves, Serpent is I wouldn't even say thinly veiled. It's like they just took a sheet of one-ply toilet paper and threw it over the concept to try and conceal it. Serpent are Viper, Primary are Primus, and Glond is Grond, who in the normal Champions universe is green and has 4 arms. Although, because he has 4 arms and 2 legs, he is technically a hexapod. So I suppose a 6-armed, 2-legged creature would be octopod. Probably just coincidentally similar to spiders and octopuses. Wow, this is a Viper report, not a quest object as I had thought. Yes. Per your command, we have compiled this quarter's Viper recruitment statistics. Worldwide, Viper recruitment has met or succeeded recruiting goals for this. These guys are so much lower level than me. 18 to my 37, so 19 levels. They are pretending not to see me. Rifling through their camp. They don't want to have anything to do with me whatsoever. Sweating bullets in their armor. Just like... Whilst I read sensitive Serpent General addressed Viper documents. Worldwide, Viper recruitment has met or succeeded recruiting goals for the fiscal year with our combat and espionage divisions exceeding its goal by a full 8%. Recruitment in our science and weapons technology divisions are up by respectively 4.5 and 5%. We credit these increases to our new program, which allows recruits without felony convictions to enlist, and probably as well as, because that's and not as well as aggressive new techniques employed by recruiters who have received mental enhancements from our Canadian Project Awakening facility and are now able to exert subtle telepathic influence upon potential recruits. Which doesn't sound good. It does say subtle, so perhaps they're just lowering inhibition slightly in people who might have signed up anyway. This is two different... You can just about see it. There's two different... jet bikes here with sidecars, and they're hovering in exactly the same place, slightly out of sync. You can see the fins are separating and phasing through one another. That's interesting. And this is another jet bike, two-seater. Neither of these vehicles, I want to say unfortunately, because it would be kind of cool if you could. Neither of these vehicles are available for players to ride. I mean, I guess player character vehicles look cooler. Like, they've got more polygons anyway, and they've got a bit more going on, but I don't know. I mean, you can get costume options for every piece of Viper costume, so you can dress your character up to look like a Viper operative of any kind, really, because the character creation in this is so flexible. So why you can't zoom around on a Viper jet bike as well is a little bit odd and a little bit disappointing. Anyway, the sole area where recruitment levels are lower than expected was in Millennium City. We attribute this to the recent appearance and activity of the superhero technical issues, though we have taken the additional precaution of executing the Viper Millennium City's recruitment commander. As a result, expect to see higher recruiting results for Millennium City in the upcoming fiscal year, as this unit is incentivized to try and make up the difference. I don't feel too bad for basically... Oh wow, he's gotten separated out even further, hasn't he? That's weird. Being the cause of Viper executing one of their members. Will they ignore me? No, they are upset by that. I guess you have to be about 30 or maybe 25 more in level difference before they'll ignore members of their own squad being taken down. So, yes, hopefully... I should have known. Viper never hang out. Viper dudes never hang out on their own. Hopefully the people who are being influenced into joining Viper are the sort of people who would be joining anyway, or be inclined to join anyway. So the people that we have been fighting won't be, you know, innocent people who have been mind controlled into it. I mean, they obviously don't have the power to continually mind control. I mean, we fought, not Medusa, the other one, up here in the Viper Nest here. Mind Slayer, I think I want to say, who was directly mind controlling a bunch of Viper agents and like members, basically. And she was only able to maintain control over about the sort of area, same sort of area as this compound. And they were all like consciously aware of the fact that they were being mind controlled, because they would say things like, I'm going to have a really bad headache if she ever stops mind controlling me, or I need to break free and warn Viper about the impending attack and stuff like that, because Mind Slayer is a member of Psi, not a member of Viper, and they are, I think, generally speaking, at odds with one another. I don't know that there was anything specific happening just then that, well, I mean, Mind Slayer was going to try and attack Viper, but there didn't seem to be any inciting incident for that. She just was going to. So, like, direct mind control of people in the game seems to be very difficult. You can't do it to the kind of numbers that you would see constantly, to the kind of numbers that you would see in, you know, all of the members of Viper in just this area, just in Canada, and there are Viper. There's a Viper presence in every region, I think. There might not be in Vibora Bay. It has been a while since I've been there, and I don't remember. We've already seen that text, so just as I suspected, Viper is performing experiments on humans in those labs, performing brain surgeries with the intent of building psychic super soldiers. This ties into what Viper is doing in their Project Awakening facility at Masagua Hills. Mark my words. I think we've probably already, learned that Carl Severisian is just the guy from Steelhead who's been assigned to investigate Viper in this area. So, reading that's not terribly helpful. I have been observing Viper's field labs for a few days now. The experiments they are performing are unethical, illegal, and cruel. I need you to sabotage these labs and end the research going on there. Research. Yep, definitely will do that. We need to ascertain what's going on inside Viper's labs, especially their larger main lab, codenamed the Clutch. That's the building with the highest level security, and it requires multiple key codes to get in. Look for the key codes at the computer terminals located at each of the 3 Viper substations. I don't know, I feel like at this point my character could probably just melt their way in through the steel. Don't mind me, I'm going to nudge you aside and take a look at your workstation. Just take the key card out. Let's make it slightly easier for him to explain how that happened. And also remove a Viper operative. Huh. Hadn't noticed that before. Viper aptitude test. Your aptitude test part 2. Your current legal status: A. Third striker. B. Stronghold escapee. C. Parole violator. D. Parking violator. Your preferred assignment: A. Interrogator. B. Torturer. C. Assassin. D. Henchman. Check any enhancements you are willing to volunteer for. A. Genetic alteration. B. Mental enhancement. C. Radiological exposure. D. Omicron infusion. We've seen mention of Omicron a couple of times. They seem to be a higher technology, probably an alien race, I want to say, or at least maybe a villain or an organization. So this would be, I'm assuming, you probably don't say cyborg grafting as infusion, so I'm going to say Omicron infusion is nanite technology. How did you find about Viper? Find out about Viper. A. Gang leader. B. Cellmate. C. Internet. D. Disaster egg in video game. Easter egg, sorry, not disaster. How did I misread Easter as disaster? Oh well. Small print on bottom of page reads Viper aptitude test page 2. Answers will be tabulated to determine ideal situation, rank and assignment of recruits. Now, interrogator and torturer are almost the same thing. There's certainly a lot of crossover. I wonder why they needed two different ones. Oh well. Take items. Remove keycard. Yes, that's the thing we're here for. But there's also read forwarded email. Dr. Demogard. The Council of 30 has directed me to apologize for my outburst during your seminar at our recent Viper Science Symposium. I've noticed since I have been injecting myself with the prototype Cron serum, I have... this is Timothy Blank, who we defeated in the Southwest Desert. Although quite why we didn't, remove him. We just beat him up and took his... did we take his research data? I don't remember. I think we were supposed to, but... we may have just left him... we may have just gone and beaten him up and left him. Which seems awfully short-sighted. Anyway. I've noticed since I have been injecting myself with my prototype Gron serum, I have become much more aggressive, and it is increasingly difficult to hold both my temper and my tongue. This in no way changes my original point, that your theories about waking the latent dinosaur DNA that exists within the human body is both pedestrian and derivative. Nonetheless, as commanded by the Council of 30, I have enclosed the results of my latest Grond DNA sequencing. It is my hope you can use it to evaluate your own paltry research efforts and better serve both Viper and the Supreme Serpent. Yours sincerely, Dr. Timothy Blank. Now, I'm not, I will freely admit, an expert on genetics, but there is no dinosaur DNA in the human genome. Why? Humans are not directly descended from dinosaurs. Birds are. And we are distantly related to birds in the same way that we are distantly related to every living thing on Earth, including trees and bacteria. We evolved on Earth. But the things that we evolved from, that were alive during the times that dinosaurs were alive, were not dinosaurs. They were different things. They were small, rodent-like creatures. Serpent General. Enclosed is the report on the recent Viper casualties in our Desert Project Stein facility. Report concludes that Dr. Timothy Blank's failure to capture Grund for further study was not a result in any deficiencies of the Project Stein security system, but a miscalculation by Dr. Blank's Grunt Hunter squads about the magnitude of the creature's power. I think we've read this before. I have a vague memory of it. Passing the blame from Blank onto the nameless squads of people who were hunting Grund. It was also found that the ensuing escape of several test subjects altered by Dr. Blank's attempts to recreate Grund were not caused by any fault on the part of his research assistant, but were due to the effectiveness of the Grund serum on the test subjects. Reprisal upon the research assistant will not be taken, as he was one of the casualties. However, Dr. Blank assures us losses incurred by this unfortunate event are inconsequential and promises his serum will be delivered as promised, possibly even ahead of schedule. Now, promises as promised. That's not great. Sentence structure there. Definitely rather clumsy. We've gotten the key cards that we needed, although I don't know why. What mission is it that we have? Sabotaging the stake. Oh, okay. There's a bunch of different things in different places for that mission. That's irritating. It definitely targeted the egg, not this Viper psionic suppressor. I mean, I guess it makes sense that the Gadroon would store their eggs inside of vaguely egg-shaped objects that look like Gadroon technology for safekeeping. I mean, I assume because they're reptilian aliens that they require their eggs to be incubated. But quite why the technology that they store their eggs in looks exactly the same as a different piece of technology that the Gadroon use for their terraforming process, I don't know. I mean, I guess the... Oh no, that's not the one I want. I guess the Doyleist explanation is that they couldn't be bothered, Cryptic couldn't be bothered when they were coming up with this, to come up with, or building all of this, to come up with a different looking... Yeah, that's freed everyone. Because this is the lab where they were conducting human experiments. I thought that because the door was flashing it would be an entrance to a mission, but it turns out it was not, so that's why I ignored it before. But yes, so the Gadroon eggs, there doesn't... I can't think of a Watsonian explanation, that is an in-universe explanation, for why the Gadroon egg carriers, I have to call it, would look exactly the same as Gadroon terraforming technology. You did good work out there. I fear you only stirred up the snake's nest, no pun intended, and your most challenging battle is yet to come. Well, that is semantically true. My most challenging battle is yet to come, probably Therakiel later in Vibora Bay, but it is not going to be against Viper. They will not be challenging me in the slightest. Excellent work, technical issues. Tell me, has anyone talked to you about staying on with Steelhead full-time? We could use a hero of your caliber. Klaus unsheathed. The man in charge of Viper's research is named Dr. Manfred Klaus. He's holed up in the main lab facility of the Clutch, and all evidence suggests he is up to something monstrous. I got a feeling there is more to this guy than meets the eye. You need to find some backup and take him down, but be ready for any surprises he might have up his sleeve. Where did Wellington keep his armies? Up his sleeves. What's going on here? He's being repaired. Looks like. Okay. Oh wow, that's lazy, isn't it? The door object is clipping through the wall here. Why would you not offset it that way? Oh well. Right. Ah, yes, so they actually have proper doors for these Challenger tanks. I think Challenger, is that correct? I'm not an expert on tanks remotely. I just know that these are modern looking tanks. They might not be Challenger tanks. I mean, I could look up a Challenger tank and see whether it matches this appearance, I suppose. See, previously, Monday, we came across a room full of tanks like this, and slightly smaller, but, well, narrower but taller trucks. In a room that only had 2 doors, both of which were this size. No doors like this. Not even any part of the ceiling that looked as though it might... Oh no, Challenger tank is World War II era. Oh no, hold on. No part of the ceiling that looked like it might hatch open and or hinge open, and yes, they are Challenger tanks, I think. At least they look enough like the pictures of Challenger tanks on Google that I've just looked up that I'm willing to say that these are Challenger tanks. There's even the thing in the barrel. Yes, so in that location that on Monday that we found, there was no way for any of the vehicles in that room to have gotten into that room. Now, I suppose, and I did theorize at the time, that they were perhaps built in the room. Not a particularly difficult fight, although I am somewhat over-leveled. So, who is Redstone? Redstone is Redstone. Cool, thanks, that's really helpful. Redstone is Deadstone. Well, probably not literally. It seems as though no matter what your power set, whether it be poison or swords or guns, or more exotic weapons like orbital cannons. You don't actually kill as a superhero in Champions Online. You just defeat or knock out, I suppose. Which, when you compare it to... I mean, I know that they were going for a, like, Silver Age, perhaps Bronze Age feel, comic book feel, like a Silver or Bronze Age comic book feel. Kind of campy, maybe a little bit Adam West Batman style here, for the general universe and the feel of things, but the Cryptic added a lot of very dark, I don't want to say dark, evil, scary, quite vile in some cases, body horror, murder, soul destruction, you know, unnecessary surgery on captured human subjects to give them mental psychic powers. It really feels one-sided, to be honest. That the bad guys, the evil chaps in this, get up to such awful things. I mean, Teleos, who's... you can just about see the top of his tower here. We fought last time on Monday with the help of Ravenforce. Developed a parasite, a biological parasite that attaches itself to people and rewrites their personality and completely or almost completely removes their memories of who they once were. These being the enemy mobs, teleocytes. And you can actually see them with like some kind of head crab looking thing over the top of their head, glowing red, and like H.R. Geiger-esque like brown pipes, biological pipes, reaching around their torso and even into their mouth. And they like walk around like a zombie, like really stiffly with their arms like this. And apparently the effect of the conversion process is so traumatic that it awakens psychic powers in the original host. So that's just one thing that villains in this game get up to. That just, it seems off balance, you know? I mean, I know you can't really have a moral paragon who goes around torturing people like that. The two things are not, they don't mesh up. They're not equal. They can't coexist in the same person. But just removing awful pieces of shit from the world so that they no longer are causing problems. You know, the really unarguable, indefensible ones. Surely just removing them from the world can be the only good option, not just capturing them and putting them away so they can in a revolving door prison so they can escape again. Anyway, so that's a bit of a rant there. Dr. Klaus was actually Redstone, eh? Why, he is one of Viper's most fearsome and fiendish generals. Fantastic work, technical issues, taking him down like you did. Well, it probably wouldn't have even have been that difficult if I was at the correct level. Especially considering that he was just a melee character and I'm a ranged character with flight. Anyway, how are your fingers? Technical issues? They are looking a little blue. You may want to head back to Millennium City and warm up a bit. Antoine Harrison is always looking for some help in city centre. So that's all of those missions. I thought there were more. You know, I thought that there were even more missions in this area. Guess I was wrong. Well, let's fly back to Steelhead and hand in all the missions that we've got for them. And then the last, I think, is just down here, which does lead to quite a number of missions. Great work. You're a brave one, Technical Issues. Those demons in Lynx's fold scare the heck out of me. I take one look and run away screaming like a little girl. Yeah, that's a bit awkward, isn't it? Snake on a plane. Friend, if the mighty Canadians still existed as a super team, I would not hesitate to offer you an invite. Cool. My heart remains heavy with the memory of my missing teammates. Someday I will retrieve them from the frozen prison dimension where they are held. But we need to put a stop to god monsters like Tilinkut and Kigatilik first. Thanks for saving those teens, Technical Issues. You know, if teenagers would spend more time playing video games and less time summoning demons, the world would be a better place. Yeah. You did a great thing today. Do you know how much trouble Mindslayer could have caused if she'd been able to bring more mentalists into Psi? Probably quite a lot, yeah. You performed your task admirably, Technical Issues. Perhaps this will help tip the scales in our favour. Rebel Quell we've done before. That's a repeatable mission, so I'm not going to do it again. Ah, there's more Lynx's Fold stuff. Okay. Lynx's Fold is the site of a great spiritual importance and power. That's an awkward sentence. Lynx's Fold is the site of great spiritual importance and power. Would work better. You don't need A in there. Anyway, a mystical nexus from which energies flow, both good and bad. The fabric between realities is weak there. The great demon of the lost Tilinkut is taking advantage of this, creating portals to summon his demon minions from the nether realm. You need to close those portals before Tilinkut's army is so vast it is unstoppable. Yeah, that does seem like a valid concern. It is not enough to send Tilinkut's minions back to their realm. We must use their power against them. I've blessed this pelt with Apikuni's essence, making it resistant to the corrosive infernal essences left behind by the demons you defeat. Collect these essences for me and wrap them in the pelt. Only then can I create the mystical defenses you'll need against Tilinkut. I probably won't, though, even though this is level 36 mission, and I'm level 37. It probably won't need any help against Tilinkut. But hey, I mean, sure, let's keep going. I've extracted some of the power from Apikuni's essence and infused them to these gloves. But you are not ready to face Tilinkut yet. You need to pick the Umbra crocuses you find in Lynx's Fold, but you can only safely gather them with the protection of these gloves. Okay. I assume that... Yes, Apikuni Blessed Gloves. There's a mission object now. Thankfully, I don't have to actually physically put them on in any slot on my character. I don't even know where they go. Here? Probably. And in fact, they might have been objects that it was necessary to physically put on your character, but thankfully no longer. I remember when we were doing a Gadroon mission in Millennium City, one that is a reference to, or was a reference to, They Live by John Carpenter. Not Carter. John Carter is a different being. what was I saying? When we were doing a mission in Millennium City, that was a reference to They Live by John Carpenter. We had a pair of high-tech shades that we were supposed to put on to see through the disguises that the Gadroon were using. And it used to be that you had to physically place those hologram piercing shades on your character, I think, in this slot. Or perhaps this one. I don't remember, and it doesn't matter anymore because you don't have to anymore. They have been changed so that they just have to be equipped to a device slot, of which your character has 5. So even if you've got a bunch of other devices that you want to keep using, it's not an issue. You can just, but you shouldn't, probably by that point you shouldn't have 5 devices yet, and even if you do, you only need to clear a slot for a little while whilst you do that mission. I don't know what this is supposed to be. We can go quite far into it, can't we? I mean, yes, I know, a tree, but why is it full of green stuff? Is that just the colour of evil in the game? I mean, that's more or less the colour that infernal supernatural powers come out as standard. If you're playing as an infernal supernatural character. Oh no, this will be that fucking storm again, right? You can change the character's power color to any of this huge selection. My lightning should be blue, I think, if I'm recalling correctly. But I decided I wanted it to be red, just to be different. Well, no, the main reason was I swear there's a... Yes, there we are. A demon dog. Because... Oh, there we go. I gave her Red Ring of Death eyes. To play further into the technical issues theme. There we go, that's all of them. What's this? Oh yes, Labour of Glove. Haha, very funny. We're supposed to find... It says Umbra Crocuses, but the actual model of the thing in the game looks really rather a lot more like... Let's see if we can find one. Like Venus flytraps. Yeah, here we are. Like, that's not a crocus. That's not remotely what crocuses look like. That's a gigantic Venus flytrap. I suppose it is appropriately evil looking. There is something about Venus flytraps that makes them... Oop, these guys are high enough level to care about me. Alright. I wonder what corrosive infernal essence is for. Stacks to 99 is a mission item, but is not currently tied to any given mission. Weird. Anyway, yes, there is something slightly otherworldly and unsettling about Venus flytraps, and in my opinion, most carnivorous plants, but they are not by any stretch crocuses. So the fact that the creators of the game, oh hello, decided to just completely ignore all biological more corrosive essence. Is that the stuff we were supposed to get for Raven Speaker? Now that I think about it, it probably is. It's really convenient of them to stack up underneath me like that. But how much of the corrosive essence were we supposed to collect? I don't remember. Oh well. Doesn't matter that much. Lost in phase space, I think, is the last one. Oh yes, we were supposed to be collecting corrosive infernal essence and 9 of it. I don't know why it stacks to 99. That's... oops, no, that's not what I meant to do at all. Why is that... why is that there? That's not helpful at all. Anyway... corrosive infernal essence stacking to 99 is 10 times more than we need. And I don't know about you, but I personally cannot be bothered sticking around here hunting that many phase shifted demons. I mean, if it's a 1-to-1 drop rate, then that would mean 99 of them, and there are certainly not that many in this region just as they spawn. So we would have to wait. I don't know why I'm exploring this idea. I'm not going to do it. We'd have to wait for them to spawn to get 99, like 99 times to get 99 corrosive essences. But we don't need to. We have enough as it is. So let us return to Raven Speaker. Weird topography. Thank you, technical issues. You've dealt a blow to Tillinkut. I believe he is vulnerable at last. We must not hesitate. Now it is time to take the offensive. Lost in phase space. The great northern gods are smiling upon you, technical issues. Labor of glove. Haha, very funny. Very knee slapping. Truly you are blessed by the spirit of the raven. That's odd. Ah, we get the mission from him, I suppose. Land of the Lost. It is time. Using the materials you have gathered, Raven Speaker has placed the blessing of the Raven upon you. Now you must go forth and fulfill your destiny. You must go to Lynx's fold, summon Tilinkut, and defeat him. His corruption of this land cannot continue. A warning though, technical issues. Tilinkut is very strong. You may want to bring some friends along to help you out in defeating this monster. I'm probably going to be okay. I think I said before that we summon him through a disc or like a ring, but I was wrong. It's more of an arch, big stone thing. Very much in theme with these weird spiky archy bits there. So what the hell? What just damaged me? Why am I taking damage? Cold of the Frost Tomb. I got a mission object that protects me. No. What the... That was weird. Is there a world mission going on? Is that what's up? Because I've flown over here before. This is where we rescued those idiot teenagers from. And we definitely didn't take that much damage last time. Did I just not notice that happening when I did this on my main? What's going on? Looks like people are coming in. Yeah, there's no timer. Confront Tilinkut, defeat Tilinkut. It must be the Tilinkut open world, I think cosmic mission or something like that. Going on here. Yeah, there he is. Kigatilik, not Tilinkut. Got confused. Well, let's not get too close. He is an ancient evil of the north. He is a demon of ice and snow and devouring cold. All that lives enrages him. All that is warm is his prey. Those he hates the most are the guardians of life, those once called shaman by the tribes of the north. Now some still claim that title, but ever more are called hero or superhero. Whoops. That is a beefy AoE damage power. He has felt their numbers growing and hated them. He has battled and killed many. Yeah. Well, if I stick around within his sphere of cold influence, he'll kill me. Looks like the people who were attempting to kill him were not successful. Ah, shit! Fucking... Oh, okay. Here, that pulled... His threat range radius is vast. It's very big. Bigger than I was expecting. Is that tiger print trousers? Very bold to wear such a tiny bikini here in the north. Although Freon is and her coloration is a frost coloration. While vacationing in Moscow in the USSR, I was minding my own business. Oh, it's first person, okay. And her facial detail is crystalline or geometric. So maybe she's supposed to be an ice crystal person. And quite by accident stumbled across what I can only assume was a hit by the Russian mob. Russian, not capitalized there, as it should be if it were the name of a place. The next thing I know, they jump me, bind me, and then knock me out. I awaken to the most intensively painful and frigid feeling you could possibly imagine. That probably wants to be intensely, not intensively, but okay. When, and I'm still not sure how, I crawled out that icy death trap, I came to realize my captors had dumped me into a vat of highly radioactive liquid nitrogen at Chernobyl, the site of Russia's most infamous nuclear fiasco. I suppose that... Oh, hey, Raven Force. Yeah, it seems people were trying to take him out and failed. And his threat radius, the radius within which he'll start attacking you, is much bigger than I thought it would be. I was hoping to get close enough to get a reasonable look at him because, well, I mean, that was the first time I'd seen him. And this is also the first time I've been here while the open mission is up. Every other time I've come past here, it's been on cooldown. But it also means that I can't do my mission over here because defeat Tilinkut, because it's just within the radius of his. In fact, let's press M. It's within the radius of his ice tomb AOE, and it was damaging me whilst I was going towards the Tilinkut mission. I'm just reading. It's not that important. Someone's bio, character bio. They've decided that they gained their powers by being dunked in radioactive liquid nitrogen. Yeah, so he's going at it up here, and just being here, I'm starting to take damage from Frost Tomb. So I can't actually get close enough to complete that mission whilst it's active. So and I don't know how long it's going to take. We're just within the range of whatever that was. So I am going to fly down here and do these missions instead. And hope that by the time that I've done them, Kigatilik will either have been defeated or have gotten bored and gone to sleep, I suppose. Or gone back to sleep. Oh yes, it wasn't just radioactive liquid nitrogen, it was radioactive liquid nitrogen at Chernobyl that had given this person their powers. Like, okay, I'm not gonna... I don't... It feels cruel to nitpick someone's origin story like that, but it is a little bit special snowflake. It didn't have to be at Chernobyl. Apparently the person was on vacation in Moscow, or, well, they said Russia. I don't know whether they necessarily said Moscow, I don't remember. But Chernobyl's got an exclusion zone around it. It's difficult to get to. I don't think that the Russian mob would be able to take a witness of one of their hits there. Like, and why would they bother? Why not just shoot them? To make sure that the witness doesn't speak about the hit that they had seen happening. Anyway, the Hunter Patriots are up to something. I know it. The trick is stopping them before they can trigger an outright war with Argent. Pleased to meet you. I'm Officer James Candy. I'm wondering whether this is a reference to John Candy, Canadian actor, sadly no longer with us. Anyway, we've been having some problems down here with Hunter Patriots. Seems to us that they aren't playing well with Argent out here. It's a bit awkward, isn't it? Down here, out here. Things could get messy, so I'm glad you are here. Yes, let's pull all of Argent and Hunter Patriot's attention onto me instead of one another. Steelhead Officer, nicknamed Buck. Ah, yes, of course. John Candy played a character called Uncle Buck in the film named Uncle Buck, and this clinches it. James Candy is a reference to him. An American expatriate who earned his stripes in the US Army. James Candy was a Canadian who became famous in America on SNL and in American films, Hollywood films. So there's a balance there, an equal exchange. It's bad enough we have Argent all around the countryside, but the Hunter Patriots have been spotted here as well. It seems like they've been snooping into Argent's business, and Steelhead Division needs to know what they're up to. The outpost captains at the Hunter Patriot camps are the ones in charge. They may have information on them. Scooping the spies. The Hunter Patriots are keeping close tabs on Argent's operation. They've sent out a bunch of spies to scope out Argent's activity around the mines. Probably best to put a stop to them before Argent discovers them. I could care less is an incorrect statement. It should be couldn't. If you could care less, there is a small amount, at least a small amount, less that you could care from the amount that you're caring at the moment. Could care less implies that you haven't reached the minimum quantity of caring beyond which you couldn't care less. David Mitchell has a rant about this on YouTube already. I don't need to complain about it further, but it is silly bollocks that should stop because it is misleading language. I couldn't care less if these morons fight each other, but I don't want any innocent civilians to wander into the middle of a war zone. Stop the presses. Steelhead Division got a message from an editor at the Millennium City News about an American reporter. He was last seen in this region and his name is Jason Breer. He was working on a piece about Argent. Could you take a look around for him? If something happens to Breer, it could spark an international incident. I don't know why. I mean, Canada wouldn't be the ones responsible. And Canada and America are generally on pretty good... they're allies. I mean, it would be difficult for their international diplomatic relations to get any better, I think. Certainly in the context of this in 2009. Probably could get better now, thanks to Cheeto in charge. It really ought to. We really ought to have a handle on these blasted Hunter Patriots by now, but there are simply too dang many of them roaming around the Hoarfrost Hills. If you could thin their ranks a bit, that might give us the advantage we need to finally stomp out the nefarious terrorist organization. This is defeat 150 Hunter Patriots, and I cannot be bothered with that. We'll just assume that I've done it. I don't know. I mean, this has to be the last dregs of the Hunter Patriots, doesn't it? I mean, we took out their leader in Renegade Run. Like, it was on stream a couple of weeks ago. First time I came to Canada. Oh, that's a crafting node. My mysticism is not high enough. Okie dokie. Huh. I didn't think that I had him targeted, or that I'd pressed the button to attack him. That's weird. Well, that was difficult. That's one mission already completed. We need to defeat Hunter Patriot spies. Hello, chap. Have a nap. Yes, I know that there's another one hidden there. You can't fool me. There we go. And as I said before, here is the photographer dude cowering next to a wall. In what I consider appropriate body language and positioning, environmental positioning for an environment like the frozen north of Canada. Like quite what Clayton Griswold was doing on a pier in the middle of a frozen river in nothing but a flannel shirt. I don't know. I mean, he's got a parka on. And a film camera, it looks like. Anyway. Hey, I know you. You're technical issues, aren't you? You just the break I need to get my story finished. Tenacious, globe-trotting Millennium City News reporter. Okay, that doesn't tell us much about him, but it tells us more about him than Redstone's information told us about Redstone, which just said Redstone. Which was very helpful. Thanks, game. I've got a source inside Argent, an insider named Russell Wigand, who's willing to tell me everything about what his sinister employers are up to. Well, I mean, he probably has employees as well. If he's got enough, if he's an informant, he's probably got an important enough position to have access to secrets. So, although I misspoke, he probably does have employees under him. So I was probably accurate when I said that. Anyway, he told me to meet him in the woods south of the road near the pipeline to the west, but with all these Argent goons around, I haven't been able to meet him. If we don't meet up with him quick, he's going to get cold feet and take off before I can get the information I need. I know my editor, and if he's going to run a story about an extraterrestrial invasion, he's going to want more proof. Hold on. Let's go back and take this one instead. I'm here investigating Argent, but I saw strange things up on the ridge above their camp and went to investigate. It was those weird aliens, the Gadroon. Right, yes, so... For some reason, the game introduces story elements from the bottom up rather than from the top down in the order of the missions that they give out. Perhaps because they wrote and added this one first, then this one second, and this one third, and this is just how the game lists missions. So, in order to get the story in the correct order, go from bottom up. It was those weird aliens, the Gadroon. I took some pictures, but they spotted me, and I dropped my camera and my backpack as I ran for it. I gotta get that camera back, otherwise who's going to believe we're being invaded by little green men from outer space? Well, they're not that little. I would say they're quite large, actually. I know my editor, and if he's going to run a story about an extraterrestrial invasion, he's going to want more proof. But I have an idea. Go to the central section of the Hoarfrost Hills and look for Gadroon gravitic biomodulator spheres on the ridge over the Argent camp. If you can get the data from those spheres, it will be irrefutable proof that those weird aliens are on our planet and up to no good. Why would the data be the proof that he needs? Oh, well. Yeah, so here, this Gadroon object is playing, I think, triple duty by this point for things that are Gadroon related. So apparently it's a biomodulator sphere. I don't remember what it was in the terraforming section over here, but it also was apparently the container for Gadroon eggs, or at least a Gadroon egg. Looks like their terraforming has come on a bit. They've developed better terraforming technology. Local command. We report that while we have established a presence and begun climate alterations, we have not been able to access the vein of the mineral questionite, located by preliminary scans detected in orbit. This is not due to any technical issues, but due to the presence of two conflicting human factions contesting control of the dig site. The group currently in charge of the site are thralls of a human-created virtual concept entity called Color of Silver, Argent. Their objective is most likely financial exploitation, but their considerable network of resources means that we cannot move against them without drawing more attention. The second group, the Seeker Loyalists, Hunter Patriots, are attempting to drive the others away to exploit the questionite themselves. We have hesitated to act against them because they employ magic, which could prove unpredictable. That just seems cowardly. But I'm not going to complain, because it means that the Gadroon aren't acting when they could. We will continue to fortify our position and seek alternate means of access to the questionite vein. You do that. Wait, hold on. Spheres of the unknown. That was definitely... When I went near the sphere... Yes, magic. The Hunter Patriots don't employ that much magic. It's just a small, low-level psychic ability that the commanders use to control or give orders to their minions. When I was next to those Gadroon spheres, it was saying, get parts from... And I can't check that because I've completed the mission. It was definitely saying get parts from, not data. And those are two different things. And I would say that the parts are much more convincing of the presence of aliens. Russell Wigand. I got no love for Argent. Here's the report I promised Mr. Breer, and don't worry about me. After all the things I've seen, these people don't scare me. I wonder what the heck he's seen. Russell Wigan joined Argent out of college, but has become disillusioned by the organization's nefarious business practices and wants to blow the whistle. Good on him. Wait, there's a... Aha, yes. Crafting node. But I'm not high enough skill to use it. You can fake pictures easily these days, but this here is hard evidence. People will have to believe my story now, and I owe it all to you. Say, technical issues. How would you feel if I wrote a Sunday feature story about you? Fine, I guess. Whoa, Russell really came through. There's evidence here for a dozen big stories on Argent. Keep watching the pages of the Millennium City News. I'm going to take those Argent crooks down. Wasn't there another guy in Millennium City investigating Argent? Maybe it was Jason Breer. I'll have to check next time I'm in Millennium City. My camera! You're the best! Wait. He's got a camera! Did I just, like, walk up to him and point to his chest and he goes, oh, right. Oh, yeah. I mean, yes, okay, I did get his bag as well, but... My camera, you're the best. Now I can prove that the Gadroon are here, and aren't as contained as the Steelheads want us all to think. I wouldn't really call just terraforming large swathes of the Canadian wilderness contained, but... Okay. While you were away on Argent Patrol, an Argent Patrol came by. They found my laptop while I was hiding and took it back to their camp. And no doubt they'll have locked their network up so tight, locked up their network up tight, so I won't be able to send my story out too. Sorry, that was twisting my tongue a bit there. But hey. Maybe if you could get it back, you could use the Hunter Patriots network to email my story to my editor. Please, technical issues. The readers of the Millennium City News will not rest until they know what's going on in these snowy Canadian backwoods. I think they probably will, but I imagine that they're going to be enthusiastic about finding out what's going on, regardless of rest levels. Did I find it last time? I don't remember. Is it? Oh, it's inside one of these, isn't it? Not here. We'll take them down anyway. take their Halloween goodie bags. I think it's in here. Yes, there we are. Bria's laptop. Bit chunky and clunky, isn't it? Well, I mean, by our standards. It's pretty clunky. Okay. We have the laptop. Alright, yes. Come up to one of these signal antenna that the Hunter Patriots set up. And use their own network to send information about them. What a relief. I was worried I'd miss the deadline and my stories would be spiked. I wonder which will end up on the front page, the Gadroon story or the Argent expose? Probably the Argent expose. But who knows? The Hunter Patriots are still too close, but at least they aren't pressing any further. From these plans you found, it looks like the Hunter Patriots are snooping into Argent's mining operations. I wonder what they're up to. The Hunter Patriots are trying to scare off Argent, and part of their plan is to blow up Argent's oil pipeline. We've got satellite photos showing that the Hunter Patriots just received a delivery of explosives. We need to confiscate those explosives, because if they succeed in blowing up the pipeline, we'll be dealing with an ecological calamity. Yep. Bad idea. Super bad idea. Oh yes, that's defeat 150 dudes, which I can't be bothered with. Because there aren't even that many Hunter Patriots around. Like, they hang out in pairs, widely spaced. And the vast majority of this area is full of Argent, not Hunter Patriots. So if you want to do the 150 Hunter Patriots in the area, you have to just go around the outside edge constantly in loops. Oh right, yeah. Mission entrance is over here, isn't it? Which is frankly inefficient. Don't know how clever it is using huge amounts of electricity around open crates of sticks of dynamite, but it seems as though it's fine. I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure that this won't blow up and kill me. What's really weird about this is there are very obviously more Argent dudes through there. I mean, you can't target them, What's that object? Oh, it's just some ore poking through the walls. But why? How did they get in there? Where's the other entrance? Oh yes, we're confiscating these explosives. We are somehow putting those 2 huge crates and I don't know how many small crates of dynamite into our pockets, I suppose? Oh, so yeah, the world seems incredibly dangerous. I don't know that I would want to live in the world of champions. If only because odds would be fairly good that I'd just get picked up by some asshole and sacrificed to the kings of Edom or something, just because I was walking around. So this is apparently for a different mission. It is odd that we can see in through here. I mean, there isn't even any more of the mission map. Yeah, a running joke that the civilians are actually superhuman. It wouldn't surprise me. Weird. Instead of exiting through forwards through the mine, I just come up through the ground. Ah, question authority. Okay. I don't know that I've done that one on my main, so I don't know where I get it from. I mean, I know that there's another mine over here, Lost Lemon Mine, that we will do a mission in, but we were just in a mine, an abandoned mine over here. 2 separate parts. We'll be watching shipments very closely to make sure that this doesn't happen again. But what were they planning to do with all of that ordnance? Destroy the pipelines. Tick, tick, tick. The Hunter Patriots don't just want to drive Argent from the area. They want to create an ecological catastrophe that drives everyone from the neighborhood. They've sent out a squad of demolitionists to blow up Argent's oil pipeline. You need to stop them, and I fear time is short. So, yes, blowing up a pipeline and creating... Probably creating both an oil spill and a huge fire would make everyone leave. But then firefighters and other people trying to contain the ecological disaster would show up in huge numbers. So I really don't think that this is a very good plan. Like, on multiple fronts, this is a bad plan from the Hunter Patriots. Although, having said that, they are the guys who came up with bomb-laden Zambonis, radioactive toonies, or loonies, what was it? Nanite-infused nanite-infused, what was it? Poutine, I think? And yes, the maple-powered death ray. So, I would have to say that they are not good at coming up with plans. What makes it dangerous is the fact that they have resources. Though quite who's giving them money to enable them to do this stupid shit, I don't know. Oh, hello. How is a trained attack dog attacking me with bolts of black energy? What did they train it to do? Magic. Okay, yes. So these are not just trained attack dogs, but magic attack dogs. Okay. The Hunter Patriots are nothing if not determined. They've sent a cybernetic demolitions specialist to make sure nothing interferes with their plan to blow up the oil pipeline. The Demolisher is more than Steelhead Division can handle, but a tough superhero like you might have a chance against it. Yeah. I don't know that this would inspire confidence in me, that he's good at demolitions. It looks rather to me like he's very, very bad at demolitions. And that his hobby in it has cost him, perhaps not an arm and a leg, but 2 legs. Certainly. 2 arms, rather. Certainly. And no, he's not terribly difficult to deal with. I mean, yes, I outlevel him by 12. But he's just a cyborg. It really wouldn't have been that difficult to deal with him. Even if I were at level, and I really think that Steelhead would have been able to manage. What's the last thing I need to do? Ah, take out Grenadiers. Okay. Soldier. Animal Handler. I will give the game points for having an Animal Handler on a team that has a trained attack dog. That makes sense. That lines up. Ah, there we go. Last one I need. Hunter Patriots' plans will grind to a halt without that Demolisher. They may give up on the plan completely. Good work. We really ought to have a handle on those blasted Hunter Patriots by now, but there are simply too dang many of them roaming around the Hoarfrost Hills. If you could thin their ranks a bit... Oh, hold on, that's the one I've already done. Or that I'm not doing because it's too much. You did great work. Just don't expect any gratitude from those Argent crooks. Those guys are dirty through and through. Right. That's all the missions here, it looks like. There might be another one in Lost Lemon Mine, so there might be more. But then where would you get... How would you get introduced to them? The game is generally pretty good at introducing you to the next person that you need to go along and see to get more missions. Like, it doesn't expect you to wander around until you find a new exclamation mark. So, I mean, I guess I can just enter the mine. But because I don't have a mission here, can't really interact with anything. Ooh, who's that? Armadillo. Not met him before. I mean, I know that he exists. Oops, hello. And this stuff is presumably questionite. Randall Gordon named himself Armadillo because of his suit's ability to tunnel into the ground. It didn't hurt that the suit kinda resembled an armadillo's armor too. Unfortunately, there are plenty of people who make fun of the name. Well, that's unfortunate for them, because Randall doesn't take teasing very well. He blasts anyone who makes fun of him into cinders. Oops, that was not what I intended to do. Oof. I wonder what power that is. Hold on. His body is very weirdly proportioned. How big his torso is in comparison to... Well, it's a bit difficult now, but... in comparison to his legs. The drills are destructible. I just don't have a mission to destroy them. Yeah, it's weird that I could get in even though I didn't have the mission. It's just allowing me to interact with the object for no reason. It can't be that I have to defeat Hunter Patriots, 150 Hunter Patriots before I get the mission, because for one thing, that's a repeatable mission. It shouldn't unlock more missions. And for another, I've done that mission with my main when I was here before, and it didn't open up that mission at that time, so never mind. I'm level 38 now, so I can, as I said a few sessions ago, I think, but at this point, I would show what orbital cannon looks like, because I've got one slot left to choose powers on. I don't know what attack Armadillo used with the big reticle on the floor and flames and stuff, because, I mean, I'll also show off what oh jeez, what's it called? Well, I'll find out in a moment. Strafing run, that's the one. Let's have strafing run. we'll have a look at what it looks like. So, according to Ravenforce, this is the only power in the game that lets you place the object, the target, like this. Oh, not enough energy. Okay. Well, let's get enough energy. And then... See, it leaves... it doesn't have a reticle, as I thought that it might. And it leaves a patch of fire. But it definitely looks like strafing bullets from a kind of crescent shaped... You saw the shadow zoom past. It was a pointy-nosed, crescent-winged vehicle of some kind. Oh, right. Need more energy, apparently. Okay. So, presumably incendiary rounds? Okay. But that's not the power that leaves a big reticle on the floor. Oh no, I want to remove powers. Orbital cannon looks very cool, by the way. Yeah, it certainly looks like a Nighthawk vehicle. I don't have enough energy. Now I do. You have to have it charged. And it looks like that. And if you take the advantage... I don't think I can. Whilst you're inside, or at least whilst this character... possibly due to some bug. Whilst you're inside the powerhouse, you can't train up on your own. You have to do it with a... oh, I've only got one. I can't take Anvil of Dawn. So, Anvil of Dawn causes it to attack repeatedly over a number of seconds, whilst the power is on cooldown as well. So it's cooling down whilst still firing, which means the interval between which you can use it is much smaller than it might first appear. It does remove the ability, apparently, for the attack to hit anything like vertically. It says that it only hits things on the ground, which I don't care about, because I have not really seen any occasions. Well, there's probably a few corner case occasions when you would want it to hit something that's in the air. One final... oh no, not one final, but... still got one left before I can choose the final specialization. Yes. Maybe they're one of the other... I'm not going to test it now. It's not vital to the story of the game. So there might be a few corner cases where you do actually want an attack that hits vertically, or that descends from the heavens to hit everything vertically within its path. Like there might be some boss characters that fly. I mean, for example, Thrakiel, who we will eventually see much later, probably never counts as being on the ground level. So if you had taken Orbital Cannon and Anvil of Dawn, it might not work on him because it can't actually hit him. But otherwise, I think it probably is worthwhile taking Anvil of Dawn. Not that I'm an expert on builds or on making perfect use of orbital cannon as a power. So let's just summon Tilinkut. This knobhead. How's it going? Have a nap.
Surrender, friend.
Oh, he didn't manage to get his final line off. Surrender, fragile human, and let the darkness consume you. No, I'm good. I think perhaps you, fragile bear man, should surrender and let the electricity consume you. So, barring the mission that takes place in Lost Lemon Mine and possibly some others, I think this might be it, or largely it, for Canada. I mean, we've been almost everywhere. There's this area here and this zone here that we haven't done anything in, but we haven't been introduced to anyone that could give us missions in that area. You showed true bravery, technical issues. You faced one of the greatest forces of evil in the land, and you did not falter. I salute you, friend. I don't really feel like he was that great. I mean, yes, of course, if I were a lower level, he would be much scarier. Possibly even insurmountable, but I did that at the correct level, well, more or less. I mean, he was white to his name was white, so that means that I was equivalent to his level. But because he was a supervillain level enemy, that means he's 3 levels above the level he appears to have in the game. So he was probably appropriate for level 35. And I probably would have struggled solo against him at level 35. Level 38 now, of course. So maybe it would have been difficult to fight him solo at 35. Wasn't particularly difficult to fight him solo at 38. There's a bunch of missions. Oop, that's someone's defeated whichever person this one was. This is a Halloween event thing. This is a portal that leads you into a tomb. One of several. A bunch of them appear, so these columns of light mark where what's his name? Takafanes. Oh, there's 3 of them. Mark where Takafanes has released some of his minions onto the world, including a superhero who he's raised from the dead. In this specific case, it's Goblin, so maybe not a superhero actually. But each of them are unique. I don't know which this one is. I don't know. I mean, they're not marked on the minimap. Flechette 2. And that one's probably Eclipse. Done that one a couple of times. Once you defeat the superhero, you go through a portal into the tomb that held them, and you defeat the creature that was causing them to be raised, I think, something like that. And that puts them at rest, at least until the next time, at least until next year when this event happens again. And that's one of the events that happens during the Blood Moon Halloween event. I need to come and talk to Jury Reg, who... Well, let's dismount, shall we? Easier to look at him. Oh wow, I know you. You're Technical Issues. You probably haven't heard of me. My superhero name is Jury Rig, because I, build stuff. The supernatural is really outside my area of expertise, but I know someone who can tell you more. Real name Damon Armstrong, Jury Rig is a gifted engineer, electrician, mechanic, and designer from the city of Vibora Bay. He has travelled to Millennium City to get Dr. Silverback's advice on his latest project, the Flashback Machine. Oh, it frees them to help against Takophanes. Okay. Well, I'm pronouncing it Takophanes. Everyone in the game pronounces it Takophanes. I don't know which would be correct. This is my first time in Millennium City, Let's have a look at him. Oh, that's unfortunate, isn't it? Must have lost a leg and an arm. The thing with Jury Rig is that he can build things, but only out of scrap. Which, as I said, a little unfortunate. I don't know what this is helpful for. Wow, he's tall, isn't he? My character is 6 foot, and he is head and shoulders above her. So according to Ravenforce, defeating and freeing the various undead superheroes allows them to come and help against Takophanes. Taco. The big undead Taco. Presumably later on, I don't know if the two events are concurrent or whether one follows the other. I've seen people talk in the chat about finding Takophanes by following a big cloud to a beam of light, but I've never actually seen that happen. Not that I've been playing 24/7, so maybe I've just missed it. This is my first time in Millennium City, I'm here working with Dr. Silverback, but it seems like I keep running into familiar faces from Vibora Bay, and some of them are bad guys. Last night, I saw some Trey Kings hanging out near City Hall. Trey Kings are a street gang, and there are rumours that they're demon worshippers. They sure look creepy enough for it. If they're here, I bet they're up to no good. I don't know much about magic, but if you wanted to check it out, I met another hero from Vibora Bay who might be able to help. Her name is Valerian Scarlet. Oh, Valerian Scarlet's bad news. I mean, we won't know that until later on, but... I don't think I want to do this yet. I probably don't even want to pick it up, because this is the introduction to the actual story in the main story in Vibora Bay, and it leads to basically the final mission. Just misunderstood. I've never run into her before, but I think she's a mystic superheroine. She said she was going to try to hang out at Club Caprice. Maybe she can tell you more. Oops, no. No, I don't think I'm going to do that just yet. Oops, I've got flight off for some reason. Okay. Now might be a good time to do the introductory Vibora Bay mission. The one that we got, or we picked up, like... Where's the chap? Oh, it's over here. It's always further along this way than I remember. When did we get the mission? It was like 23 or something? Level 23? The Queen City.
The forecast is calling for hot and sticky. If my sources are right, and they usually are, it's about to get hotter. Gangs have always been a problem in Vibora Bay, but keeping them in check just required knocking a few heads together.
Black Mass looked like she was doing
That's
poorly there.
changing. The gangs are getting smarter, more organized. The larger groups like the Dogs and the Sovereign Sons are squeezing out the small-time gangs.
Yeah, his accent's not very good, is it?
I don't have all the details yet, but there are definitely outside forces at work here. A little birdie tells me Black Mask has brought in some outside force of her own. We should talk. But until then, welcome to Vibora Bay.
Yeah, so that was supposed to be a southern... well, so Vibora Bay, I think, is supposed to be... New Orleans, or New Orleans. And that accent was supposed to be a New Orleans accent. It wasn't very good as an accent, as an impression. And the person we saw fighting, who I referred to as Black Mask, that was actually happening along here somewhere. We might not actually be able to get to it because this is... oh no, it's over here. This is a restricted, cut down version of Vibora Bay. Can I not mount up? I can't. That's awkward. Can't travel more quickly here. So she was fighting over here. Oh no, this is the edge. This is as far as I can fly. And she almost got taken out by the dogs that she was fighting. That's the name of the street gang. Who, by the way, unless... I mean, this isn't going to be spoilers, it's pretty obvious. The dogs are a werewolf gang. Oh wow, even the powerhouse entrance here... well, it's shut down at the moment. This powerhouse location is currently under renovation. If you are urgently in need of training, please visit one of our other locations. Sorry for any inconvenience. But it's also... is it physically different? Yeah, this is different. Most other powerhouse entrances only have this cog. This is deliberately shaped like that, isn't it? It's not damaged or anything. This is very, very steampunk, isn't it? Anyway, we're supposed to come and talk to Jennifer Ward. Take note of several aspects of her outfit here. The boots particularly, and the shape of the design on her dress. This will give you some clues. And it tells me that she's actually not very good at maintaining a separation between... yeah, so Thrakiel is the main villain of Vibora Bay, but he hasn't happened yet. Here. Welcome to Vibora Bay, technical issues. I'm glad you decided to come. I guess you are wondering what this is all about. Sorry for the cloak and dagger, but there is trouble brewing here. Black Mask thought it best that it not seem as if she was working directly with you, so she asked me to meet you here. To meet you. I don't know why Black Mask wouldn't want to be seen working directly with me. I mean, we're both superheroes. I'm dressed a little garishly, I suppose, but then I suppose you could also make the accusation that Black Mask dresses garishly. Black Mask has a safe house not far from here. She is waiting for you there. She'll fill you in on the details. Just head north up the street behind me, turn right at the light, and then go north into the alley across from the mall. The door to her hideout is in the alley. You can't miss it. Okie dokie. Well, I'm not going to go up the street. I'm just going to fly. Yeah, this cathedral is where Therakiel hangs out. Yeah, probably spoilers, but we'll get there eventually. You know, it took me fucking ages to find this the first time. I thought a hideout would be like under a manhole cover or something. It didn't help that at the time I was playing on a small laptop that was about 5 years old, or maybe 6. So I didn't see that this was flashing for the longest time, because you have to be within a certain distance before it starts flashing. And I was thinking, like, maybe the hideout's up here, or on one of these walkways. But no, this door. Anyway, let's stop stalling. You may notice that this is a number of pieces from the vigilante basement hideout. This is an anti-aircraft flak cannon. When you're choosing objects in your... Yes, this is Black Mask, by the way. When you're choosing objects, she's wearing exactly the same boots. When you're choosing objects for your hideout, they've got names. Like there's a tech object that goes here and is like a U-shaped thing. It's called in the game spinny thing because it rotates. This is called how did that get down here? Much in the same way as the interrogation, well, torture chair that can go here is called questionable methods. So she's wearing exactly the same fucking boots as in her civilian outfit, and exactly the same colour clothes with black diamond motif cut into it. Now, this admittedly is a different outfit, visibly, but it still has the same colour motifs and boots. So I don't know who she thinks she was fooling, saying... like... There's Clark Kenting, and there's really having no clue what you're doing. Thanks for coming. I don't like to ask for help, but Vibora Bay has been a dangerous place recently. She says, surrounded by guns and ammo and a motorbike with a Gatling cannon, a Vulcan rotary cannon attached, 2 different cannons attached to it, and a flak cannon that she somehow managed to get into a basement. It seems like all of the troublemakers are starting to move at once, and I've got my hands full dealing with them. The current Black Mask is the 10th person to wear the mask and bear the name, which is impressive. Trained by her father and grandfather, both former Black Masks, Jennifer Ward is the first woman to hold the title. Cool. Just wish she was better at disguising herself in her civilian identity. Jennifer is devoted to upholding peace and justice in her chosen city, using a combination of martial arts, wits, and solid detective work, and loads of guns. And an RPG launcher. Though she is not magical herself, as a long-time resident of Vibora Bay, she's been exposed to many of the arcane arts and feels comfortable dealing with it. Jennifer has shared her secret identity with a few close friends, and me, apparently, and everyone that sees both her civilian outfit and hero outfit directly. She is a freelance writer under her own name and writes horror novels under a pen name. With the weight of the franchise on her shoulders, Black Mask takes care to protect the good name and public image of the Black Mask. Now, I'm not someone who slut shames. If you want to dress like this, fair enough. But it has the unfortunate tendency of suggesting to unpleasant people who are looking for faults that perhaps... Okay, look. I've got several issues with her outfit. I suppose on the one hand, yes, we're in Vibora Bay, which is a stand-in for New Orleans, which is a very, very humid place, and you probably don't want to be wearing too much just for the sake of not sweating yourself into a puddle. But she's supposed to be a superhero, and she'll be getting attacked a lot by people who want her dead. Having these big windows in her outfit is incredibly stupid. Like, her heart is directly in the middle of this big fucking target area that says "stab me here." Additionally, don't know if you noticed before, but she's got a huge window in the back as well. She's apparently an ordinary human who gets by with wits, cunning, and martial arts. Like, she doesn't have super resilience. And yet she's wandering around wearing stab me here clothes. She's also supposed to be protecting the good name and public image of the Black Mask, and anybody who is remotely conservative who sees her running around wearing this is going to accuse her of being a slut. Regardless of whether she is or not, and even if she was, who fucking cares? Do what you like with your own body. But, like, if you're trying to protect the image of the Black Mask, I feel like you probably want to dress a bit more conservatively whilst you're the Black Mask, because you're not just representing yourself, you're representing a lineage of 10 previous heroes. Like, dress like this in your own time. Fair enough. Do as you like. I could see a case for it, because we're in New Orleans, which is a bloody hot place. And wearing as little as possible makes a certain amount of sense in a location like that. Anyway, yes, I suppose Raven Force, considering what she does, it is a weird outfit. It is a weird outfit to wear. I guess, though, through the magic of agility, she's supposed to survive. Yes, apparently we're supposed to believe that she is capable of dodge with some martial arts experience and training. She is supposed to be capable of dodging every single blow that might strike any of her exposed areas. Like, maybe the weave of the outfit is like super Kevlar or something and is bulletproof, but like, that's not helpful if you expose huge amounts of your bare flesh to incoming attacks. Anyway, that's been 10 minutes of ranting about Black Mask. Like, if I'm going to spend a little bit more time. If she had any amount of super resilience, I wouldn't be complaining, other than the comment about the fact that she's not just representing herself, she's representing a lineage of other Black Mask heroes. If she had super resilience, it wouldn't be an issue that she's not dressed appropriately to protect herself. Because her superhumanly strong flesh would be capable of taking the attacks and shrugging them off to some degree or another, depending on, you know, how strong she is, superhumanly speaking. But it clearly says she's an ordinary human. Compare and contrast with my superhero, who I haven't decided whether she's an ordinary human. I mean, she probably can't be because she's using huge amounts of electricity, but I haven't decided whether she's a robot or a superhuman who's empowered to generate electricity, or even a half Sasquatch hybrid who generates the electricity through not friction, what's the word? Static electricity from body hair. But she's still wearing a huge amount of body armor. Okay, this isn't terribly well protected. This isn't terribly well protected. It could be better. But I'm doing what I can within the limits of the character creation costume options that the game presents me with. And this is pretty heavily armoured. I could go a little bit further. I think I probably could manage full torso armour. And a helmet, of course. Helmet being probably the most important that I'm missing. But I'm a superhuman who definitely has superhuman powers. Now, those superhuman powers probably aren't super resilience, but I really think that I'm taking this more seriously than she is. I'm singing electricity. People generally won't want to come into melee range. You would think so. And yet, as we have seen frequently, there are any number of demons, idiot viper dudes, or Hunter Patriots who will charge in, combat knife drawn, trying to stab this person who generates huge amounts of electricity. Anyway, someone's been stealing bodies from graveyards all over town. They're stealing from the territory of gangs like the New Shadows and the Sovereign Sons, which means our thief isn't small fry. My nose tells me this is the start of somebody's scheme. Your nose? Have you been bitten by a werewolf recently? Can you poke around for some clues? The most recent thefts have been at the San Paolo Church, west of here, just inside the Sovereign Sons' turf. Be careful around the Sons. They don't like heroes. Well, I don't especially care whether they like me or not. It's not up to them. Right, yeah. This was the extreme far left of where we were able to get to. I don't think I'm going to go around exploring the full extent of the limits here, but let's make this the primary. Oh, they're level 22. Oh, that's really annoying. I'm way over leveled for this mission. Oh yeah, let's get some information about the Sovereign Sons. The Sovereign Sons are a gang of criminals and drug dealers. In the past few years, they have been delving into voodoo magic, raising the dead, calling the Petro lower and worse. Their leader is a man called the Baron. So basically, I think borderline racist caricatures of the former occupant of this grave was buried 2 days ago. I really feel like this is borderline unacceptable caricatures of people. This grave is empty. It was only filled yesterday. Within the sort of Haitian culture and people who follow Vodun, and because Vodun and Voodooism are different things, and there has been almost no like Voodooism as you would understand it from Hollywood and Hollywood's decisions of portrayal. There's almost none of that. The moist soil has retained its shape. There are obvious shovel marks in this area. Yeah, I'm sure that we'll... I mean, so the dogs, the werewolf faction, and the new shadows, the vampire faction, also contain rather glaring and obvious stereotypes, but in those cases it's the sort of trailer trash redneck for the werewolves, and gothic vampires for the new shadows. So that's not offensive to anyone, and it kind of works. I mean, they're what you expect when you think of vampires and werewolves. There are 2 parallel sets of drag marks here leading to the southern entrance. Four of 7 graves investigated. I was hoping that I'd be able to get the attack off before they... or take them down before they got their attack off, but it seems that I was not. Why do all of the villain level mobs that we're fighting here have nailed to the ground the advantage that you can add to some powers that removes travel powers from the target? Like, why would that be relevant? Nobody else has it. The missing owner of this grave was buried only 3 days ago. There are multiple tracks around this grave. Some have a normal human stride, others a more shuffling gait. Yeah, whatever attack it is that the priests use that removes my travel power is really annoying, because I don't know... I mean, we haven't met any other enemies so far that use it. There are a couple, now that I think. There is a single tire track leading towards the south gate. Were some of the bodies moved in a wheelbarrow? Yeah, the Botano have some attack that removes travel powers, and it gets on my nerves. So apparently players don't have access to it anymore, and it cannot be blocked. Wow, that's a bit OP. I mean, I can only imagine that travel power removing powers are only useful in PvP and maybe a bit against annoying high level enemies. Why it would be used here for a section of the game that you never visit again, I don't know. And I don't know that the enemies that have it here have it in the actual Vibora Bay. I mean, it's been a while since I've played Vibora Bay, so I don't remember. Let's see. Our thief only took bodies that were buried recently. The graves were dug up with a spade. Our thief isn't super strong, so that's good news. Shipping and reanimating. The clues you found all point to one thing. Somebody is using voodoo magic to create zombies, and since it's not the Sovereign Sons, I have a good guess who. Bokor Kulev is a voodoo magician who left the Suns and has been squatting in a warehouse near the waterfront east of here. Turning bodies into zombies is right up his alley. Why don't you go find out what he knows? I think I will. Oh, all of them have it. Okay. Well, that's annoying. I don't know why newly acquired missions don't become the primary mission. It seems like an odd design choice. These cheery chaps. Oh, this is exactly the same text as all the other undead that we've met so far. Okay. What a good idea. Explode barrels of toxic waste directly below me. Well, it doesn't seem to have hurt me so far, does it? Oh good. His summoned minions disappear when he gets dropped. This text, finish off this undead abomination while it's still on the ground, or be ready to defeat it again and again and again. That implies that you have to do something once you've defeated it before it, or unless it, to stop it from rising again, but that doesn't happen. Thankfully, I mean, that would be really annoying. Something a bit like that happens in, now that I think about it, something a bit like that happens in DCUO, in a mission where you are fighting the Scarecrow, actually. He uses his fear gas to create hallucinations. I'm not quite sure how, but then I don't know how the Scarecrow's fear gas works in the first place. And also, it's a universe with magic, so he could entirely plausibly have added a little bit of extra magic to his attacks. Or indeed, it could just be an unintended, unexpected side effect of being in a universe with magic. Anyway. Oh, that's interesting. These ones stick around after the summoner is dead. So you're fighting Scarecrow in a Gotham sewer, and he's using his fear gas to create various obstacles during his boss fight, one of which is a whole bunch of killer crocs. And with them, you have to both defeat them like this, and then go up next to them and use the interact button to do like a finishing move, punch or something, that stops them from getting back up again. Because otherwise, they continue to do so. Thankfully, you are in the mission with Batwoman, who does help, and also does do that finishing move on the Killer Crocs when she takes them down. So it's not just a case of going around doing the whole thing, cleaning everything up yourself. You do have help, and the help is moderately useful. But I suppose we will eventually see that when we get to play DCUO later. Oh, I don't have this on. That's why he's not dropping immediately. Wow, look at that weapon he's got. That's South American Stone Age weapon. It's a long, like a plank of wood stick, really, with grooves cut in the narrow sides, and then sharp pieces of stone put in along the length and tied in place. It's a stand-in for a sword when the Aztecs and the Incans and so on didn't discover metal shaping. So it's odd that a voodoo priest would have one, because the two cultures are not... I mean, they meet, obviously, because African slaves would have been sent to both South Africa and South America and North America. But I wouldn't have thought that they'd cross over that much. Anyway. Yeah, I've been raising them dead bones. I've been paid good money to raise the dead. Oh, no, I'm not going to keep doing that. It's spelt... They've phonetically spelt out the accent, but I don't feel comfortable imitating it, particularly because he's supposed to be a caricature of a much maligned living culture. Yeah, I've been raising them dead bones. I've been paid good money to raise the dead, put them in crates and ship them to addresses all over town. But that's not the strange part. The man who's paying me to do this, he's a dead man too, only he's got a brain in his head and cash in his wallet. Okay, and thankfully in this mission there is an exit in the final room. I definitely interrogated him, so why is that mission still up? I'm going to go back to the stronghold, Black Mask's hideout, and hope that this is just a bug and it has completed, because I don't really want to go through the whole mission again. No, it's not a long mission. But we did talk to the guy. It should have completed. Oh, for fuck's sake. That's bullshit. Because I've left, the mission will have reset and the place will be full of zombies again. It is nice that this is a completely different zone. Like, very little of it copies over any of the existing assets from other parts of the game, and there's a whole different set of enemies here. Like, there's no Viper as far as I can remember in Vibora Bay, and no Argent. Who else would there be? Psy, there's no Psy. We do kind of get some Psy elsewhere. I would really like to be able to show Viper will run out of Vibora Bay. Oh, okay. Might be some abandoned bases. Well, I mean, I wouldn't be able to tell because as far as I can see, all of Viper's bases look like military, any other military base. So I would really like to be able to show City of Heroes. I just legally cannot, because the people who run the fan servers do not own the rights to the game, and so streaming the game would get them in trouble, legally speaking. I think I read probably a year or so ago that the people running Homecoming are trying to gain the rights because, at least at that time, the intellectual rights to City of Heroes were coming up for public ownership. Like the copyright was running out, so they were coming into public domain. That's the word. Apparently, you need to tap continue instead of close the message for the game to realize that you've talked to him, even though you get the NPC dialogue in the NPC chat. Either way, that's fucking stupid. So I don't know what's happening with Homecoming trying to acquire the rights. Maybe Cryptic or whoever. No, not Cryptic, it wouldn't be Cryptic. NCSoft. Maybe NCSoft are holding on to the rights, or whoever bought NCSoft is holding on to the rights with a death grip, even though they're not actually running the game anymore. And maybe there was clashes between different groups of fans who are running different servers. Each of them trying to gain ownership and not being able to agree. I don't know what's going on there. I really hope that it gets sorted out so that the game is playable for fans again, officially. I mean, you can go and find the ways to download and install and get it running pretty easily through Google. Certainly I managed, and my Google foo is quite weak. But you can't play it on stream, sadly. Or you'll risk getting the people into trouble. And by that I mean you'd risk them having to take it down, so that you'd spoil it for everyone if you went and played on stream. Bukor Kulev was just working for someone else, huh? And at least you put him away. Now we need to find his boss, the dead man. Manfield Sweeper. Some dead man was paying Bukor Kulev, I think it's probably Bokor, to raise zombies and then to ship them in crates all over town. We need information, fast. I'm sending you to Trader Jack. Jack's an underworld merchant, but he never deals in cash. He swaps information, equipment, and favors. He's a shady character if ever there was one, but I've dealt with him before, and he's honest if you play his game. I've sent a message to Jack asking him to meet you in Winsong Mall, across the street. See if he knows anything. Okay. What was his name? Trader Jack. Trader Jack's the guy who did the voiceover at the beginning, who's dressed like a plantation owner from 2 centuries ago. So I don't think it's very cool that he's dressed like that. In fucking high spats, buckled shoes, tight pants, stained shirt and sash, coattails, and stovepipe hat. A very good evening to you, technical issues. The dead man, I can point you in the right direction, but they don't call me Trader Jack for nothing. What can you offer me in return? Your secret identity? A mystic artifact? A rare butterfly? No. No? Then perhaps a favor. Valerian Scarlet runs the Minefield, a very friendly club on the east side of town. I owe her a service. If you perform this task for her in my stead, I shall compensate you with the information you seek. Well, I'm probably okay doing something innocuous like this for, well, probably not innocuous, but broadly unrelated for Valerian Scarlet here. Trader Jack has served as a supplier of weapons, hired muscle, and information to a number of underworld figures in Vibora Bay. The only payment he accepts is barter. Cash he considers completely unacceptable, and he regards any offer to pay him as a personal insult. It's an open question whether Jack possesses paranormal powers of his own. Is he a fairy, a demon, under a curse, or merely an eccentric and well-connected merchant? Who knows? Oh, yeah. By the way, the mall is covered with a glass ceiling, which just seems to me like it would make the place hotter. So, well, during the day at least. So I do wonder about the wisdom of that. That just seems unnecessary. But we want to go to the minefield, which I think has a huge decommissioned sea mine outside, if I'm recalling correctly. I might not be. There's certainly that thematic. Oh yes, there we go. That thematically in the club, but yes, here is a hopefully decommissioned sea mine hung up outside the club with a... That must be motorized, because this is a physical object. It's not like scrolling on a screen. So this is a motorized... So they must have cut it in half. And almost certainly necessarily have decommissioned it. So we've got to hope that this isn't working. I'm not just going to wang it with the butt end of a shotgun and call it decommissioned, like in Hot Fuzz. But fucking hope that's decommissioned. Wow, that's a big old hairdo, isn't it? No wonder. Nope. The toilets are not accessible. Apparently superheroes do not... Why is there a costume person here? Oh well, okay. Yeah, it's a good film. It's definitely worth watching. Hot Fuzz. You're looking for the club's manager, Miss Scarlet. Her office is through the door on the other side of the club. I assume this is a uniform for people who work in the club because, like, she's wearing it as well. But apparently, uniform for men includes smoky eyeshadow. Or at least some kind of makeup. Which, fair enough, I guess. I am tempted now to create an even bigger set of power armor for my character after my rant about oh look, they're all socially distanced. That's responsible of them. After my rant about appropriate costumes for superheroes. It is a bit like an It's Not a Phase Mom club, except, well, he's more industrial techno. You can see his pants, his underwear through the holes in his pants. He's more a punk, maybe on the industrial side, but he's definitely oh wow, asymmetrical face covering mascara. That's definitely a decision he's made deliberately. These two seem to be goths. She's probably on the goth spectrum somewhere as well. Oh, I think is the so A Kid in the Corner is related to a Canadian mission. If you do Canadian Gothic mission and then speak to him, you get an emote. So I think I've done Canadian Gothic. Is that the one where you... Ah, it is this guy. Is that the one where you save the Canadian teens who have been summoning demons? Hey man, thank you for, like, extending my existence on this miserable planet. I'm super grateful. People say I sound sarcastic, but I really am, man. I think that line is a reference to a Kids in the Hall sketch where a guy at a party who's standing next to the snack table sounds super sarcastic, and he says to the other guy that's in the sketch with him that he's afflicted with a terrible like speech pattern that makes him sound sarcastic, but he's actually very lonely and finds it very difficult to make friends. So the fact that he's Canadian and he's saying, people say I sound sarcastic, but I really am, man, is like a subversion of that and a reference. Anyway, I'm going to show you a dance that teaches you the sadness of the crushing weight of existence. Did I? It doesn't seem as though anything's unlocked for me. But then... Oops. I don't know what dance... Do you know what dance it is? It probably looks like his like slumpy dance there. Dance Gloom. It's not on the list, but I'll give it a go. How is it? Is it EM? No, I don't have it. Anyway, well, that's an impressive dance move, wasn't it? These guys are pretty killer breakdancers. I mean, I don't know anything about breakdancing, it just looks cool. Anyway. I mean, I'm just assuming that the Canadian Gothic mission is the one where you save the teens who were summoning demons, and I did do that, but I could be wrong. I'm not sure which mission it would be in that if it isn't. No, this isn't her superhero outfit. This is just... I mean, it's definitely a look, isn't it? With an extremely low plunging, not just top on the outside, but also top on the inside. You can kind of see an inside top here. Anyway. Trader Jack sent you? I guess a superhero could be just what I need. Guy Sweetland runs the gang outside, the Dogs. He's been getting delusions of grandeur and thinks he's entitled to a share of my profits. There's no way Valerian Scarlet is going to pay protection money to a bunch of two-bit thugs. Could you step outside and explain that to them, pretty please? I mean, yeah, okay, I'll beat up... Oh, no, I can't leave through this door, which presumably is the one that leads directly to the guy. The Minefield's notorious bouncer, Ram, isn't human at all. He's the result of one of Dr. Philip Moreau's experiments in creating animal-human hybrids. When the new Knights of the Round Table destroyed Moreau's lab in the Ukraine, Ram travelled the world, eventually settling in Vibora Bay. Oh, okay. So he's not supernatural or anything. He's probably a discontinued type of manimal. I didn't realise there was a superhero team called the New Knights of the Round Table. That's pretty cool. Fucking look. Let's hide all these other missions that we don't have going on. We need to defeat 20 of these twits. Oh yes, that's another thing. The werewolves are vaguely, well, some of them are vaguely French themed. There's Mongrel, Lycan. The Dogs are one of the most dangerous street gangs in Vibora Bay. Led by mob boss Guy Sweetland, very little is outside of their reach. Recently, they've also gained a great deal of power by becoming lycanthropes, werewolves. Oh, so they were the Dogs first, and then conveniently decided to go the thematic route and add werewolfism or lycanthropy to there. Oh, it's really cool that there are people who will stop, see you, and just go, yeah! Look! Superhero! Why are these people cowering? There's literally no one here but me. Is it because of the scary potted plant? The scary car? Yeah, I just destroyed a car and he said he's my hero. I'm his hero. So, it was clearly the scary car that was causing them to cower. Yeah, see, there we go. I don't know what power that is. Is that a grenade? A newly added grenade power, I think you said. Like an loop guru, there we go. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that in French, but that's definitely a French sounding name. And then a cur, which, if I can, maybe not on this one, but there are definitely some kind of in the dogs gang with the name cur. I think there are some really weird, like, misshapen human dog hybrid looking things. And then there's the Ulfhednar, which sounds distinctly Germanic. So maybe it's just a case of them trying to find as many different names or different wolf-related names as they possibly can. We've got Lycan, Cur, Loopgaroo, Ulfhednar. I don't know. I mean, Ulf is like Germanic for wolf, isn't it? And we had Mongrel as well, didn't we? It just seems a bit desperate, really. Like, open thesaurus. Look for as many different terms for wolf or werewolf as possible. And call it a day. Sweetland will think twice. Sweetland will think twice before sending his goons around to my office again. I guess I should thank you too, hero, for cleaning up Vibora's streets. You can tell Trader Jack that the favor he owes me is paid. Okie dokie. So I wonder what he was saying. Did I? The person that was standing here before was definitely a woman that looked like this. And now is a dude. Maybe they're a shapeshifter. Or maybe there's two different people who've changed shifts. Oops. Just fly directly into the mine, that's a good idea. Speaking briefly about Hot Fuzz, again. Last year at Christmas, my uncle was here, and this uncle had been in the police for a number of years, in not the same area, but roughly a similar area as happened in Hot Fuzz. And he'd never seen Hot Fuzz before, so we showed him the film. And he was mightily entertained. And he was like, yep, that's exactly what it's like. That's exactly what the region is like, and what policing in the area is like. Yep. Goods and services are exchanged, and the world continues to turn. Miss Scarlet's club is safe, my debt is fulfilled, and you are closer to catching your man. You are tracking a fellow who calls himself Dead Man Walking. He's undead for certain, and makes a living as an assassin. At the moment, he is pursuing a contract to dispatch one Mr. Gemini. Locate Mr. Gemini, and Dead Man Walking won't be far behind. Okie dokie. Oh yes, we've already learned about him, but let's learn about Mr. Gemini. Mr. Gemini heads a gang in central Vibora. He has the power to create a duplicate of himself, hence the name Gemini. Not too impressive as powers go, but his gang are no pushovers. Any of the rival gangs in town might have hired Dead Man Walking to do him in. If I were a gambling man, I'd put my money on Guy Sweetland, who runs the dogs. And then a bit more about Dead Man Walking. Isn't a complicated fellow. He was an assassin before he died, and dying didn't change him much, except to make him tougher and meaner. Even I couldn't say for sure why he didn't stay dead. He was killed by a wizard, Robert Caliburn, so I wouldn't be surprised if Caliburn had something to do with it. Now, Caliburn... Oh, hi. Vupzenox. Yeah, we are doing the introductory Vibora Bay mission, and then we'll probably go back to Monster Island once we're done, or maybe the Southwestern Desert. Although we're almost at 11 o'clock, so we'll be ending the stream soon. What was I talking about? Yeah, so Robert Caliburn will meet later when we actually start the Vibora Bay missions in earnest, and he is a stand-in for John Constantine, Hellraiser, from DC Comics. And it would not surprise me remotely if somebody that John Constantine rose again and continued doing the thing that they were doing before. Because John Constantine kind of kludges most of the things that he does. He gets through most of his battles by the skin of his teeth, and being that Robert Caliburn is this universe's version of him, it therefore wouldn't be surprising to me in the least that he made some kind of grave error, or, well, probably was left with no other choice but one risky last final shot to take down whoever Dead Man Walking was before he died. And that magical long shot resulted in him coming back as a zombie sometime later. So I'll probably say I'll say that it's probably Robert Caliburn's fault that Dead Man Walking is a zombie now, but he probably at the same time didn't have any other choice in the moment to ensure that he managed to get the job done and survive. So, I mean, that's generally how things work with John Constantine. So, Dead Man Walking is out to assassinate Mr. Gemini, huh? I have half a mind to let them fight each other, except that neither of them will be worried about collateral damage, and the last thing I want is a gang war spilling out onto the streets of Vibora. We need to find Mr. Gemini before Dead Man Walking does. Mr. Gemini isn't hard to spot. He wears a purple and black costume, and there are two of him. But it's clear he knows Dead Man Walking is after him, and he's laying low. We need to find his hideout. Fortunately, his gang is still out in force just north of here, and one of them must know where to find him. Yeah, we're almost done, actually. We will have very soon get to the conclusion of this Vibora Bay Queen City arc, and I think it's not too long away, so I think I'll finish it off. Eventually we end up having a fight on... Oh no, hold on. we've got to kill, well, not kill, but take on a bunch of these dudes. And... oh, hey, no worries. I mean... I'm just glad that you're here now. If you were looking forward to watching the show, then it's unfortunate that this was the earliest that you could get here. A little, but I mean, it's going to be up online for a number of weeks as a VOD. And there's always next time. So I'm not going to demand your attention. I was just starting Monster Island last time you came. That's cool. That was a while ago. I've done almost all of Monster Island now, I think. I've still got Rhinoplasty and the mission with Mecha Godzilla, or whatever the actual name is. Mecha something, I think. Member of Mr. Gemini's criminal gang. Well equipped, well organized, and extremely loyal. So, I have only a few missions left in Monster Island. And I left because I wasn't quite high enough level to take any more of them. And I will eventually go back. Probably after I'm done with this. But I mean, I haven't been doing any alerts or events, so well, I've done a couple of open world missions, but I haven't been doing any of these. Any alerts, rampages, or missions. I mean, I did queue briefly to do the Lemurian Crisis. So, I mean, this is evidence that you can. It's certainly easier if you do one of the alerts, because each of these boosts your XP. I think, well, one of them does. Maybe all of them? I don't remember, but other than a few open world missions, I haven't done any of these. So yes, it's definitely possible, and in fact, it took me a while to learn that you could do an alert like this with an XP sign here to indicate that would give you an XP boost. So for a long time I leveled characters without doing any of those at all. Just going through each of the zones as I was able, as they became available. And I also did a lot of it without any of the heirloom gear that gives you XP bonuses as well. Oh, cool. I'm going to assume that he'll disappear after a short while, probably before I've finished reading his information, so I'm just going to leave him. He will run out of gang members if you keep this up. I'll tell you where he is. Mr. Gemini's lying low in a brownstone on the east side of this plaza. Don't think he's going to go peacefully, though. Deadman can't get him, and neither can you. He knows you're coming. Ha ha! Oh! Aha! So, there's a bit more of this than I was remembering. We have to fight our way through a brownstone. And spoilers, we'll get there just too late, just slightly too late to actually catch Mr. Gemini. And then we'll have a fight on a steamboat on the river. So I'm actually going to leave it here because this is stopping time. and I don't actually know which brownstone I'm supposed to be going to. Oh, maybe I'm supposed to go down this alley. No. Oh, is this the door? Yes, it is. There we go. Okay. Found it at last. Well, anyway. Yeah, so it does take a long time if you're just going through missions and killing mobs to make up the difference between where the missions take you up to and where you need to be to get more missions. Sometimes, particularly once you've done all the missions in West Side, there'll be a little gap there. You can go to the one of the two crises, the desert or Canada. But generally speaking, I don't enjoy the crises very much. And especially if you're doing it with multiple characters, they get repetitive. Oh, you can do it. The record is 9 hours from level 6 to level 40, only doing alerts. Yeah, it sounds mind-numbing to me as well. That. I suppose if that's the way you enjoy playing the game, I mean, I'm not going to yuck your yum, but it's not something I would enjoy. Anyway, this is 11 o'clock, past 11, and time for me to stop. I will be here again 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. on Friday. I do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. GMT. I'm in Britain, after all, as you can tell from my accent. I will be finishing off Vibora Bay, Queen City arc, and then moving on. I'm not sure where to yet, but thank you for coming. I appreciate everyone who's stuck around and listened to me complain about things that don't make sense. And I will see you, hopefully, on Friday. I will see you next time. Goodbye.